Lizzo has once again found herself in the middle of controversy, this time over comments she made while stumping for Vice President Kamala Harris. The pop star boldly claimed that if Harris wins the 2024 election, America will look like Detroit, sparking an uproar across social media. What started as a proud nod to her hometown quickly turned into a political firestorm. During an event in Detroit, Lizzo stood side by side with Vice President Kamala Harris to rally support for the Democratic presidential nominee, urging Michiganders to cast their ballots as early voting began. In true Lizzo fashion, the singer, who hails from Detroit, passionately spoke about the resilience and pride of her city. She declared that if Harris were elected, America could expect to be proud like Detroit, resilient like Detroit. While Lizzo's intent was to celebrate the city's grit and history, her remarks quickly took a different turn. Detroit's long history of economic decline, crime, and population loss transformed her praise into a political talking point for critics, who saw it as an unintended endorsement for Donald Trump. Lizzo's words stirred up intense debate on social media, where users immediately dissected the implications of her comparison between Detroit and America under a Kamala Harris presidency. Detroit, once the bustling center of the U.S. auto industry, has faced decades of economic hardship, urban decay, and high crime rates. After peaking at 1.8 million residents in the 1950s, Detroit's population has since plummeted to around 685,000, due to a combination of economic decline and suburban flight. For many, the thought of the entire country resembling a city that once filed for bankruptcy in 2013 was less a badge of honor and more a grim forecast. Critics pounced on the statement, highlighting Detroit's troubled past rather than its recent attempts at revitalization. Commentators on platforms like X, formerly Twitter, voiced their concerns, with some sarcastically thanking Lizzo for endorsing Trump by suggesting America could decline the way Detroit did. One user wrote, "If Kamala is elected, the whole country will look like Detroit, a decimated car industry and a top 10 city in crime statistics." Others echoed this sentiment, emphasizing the city's years of financial turmoil, depopulation, and infrastructure woes. What Lizzo intended as a tribute to Detroit's comeback spirit instead sounded to some like an advertisement for everything wrong with the city's history. The backlash was swift, with many accusing Lizzo of downplaying the severity of Detroit's decline. For decades, the city struggled under the weight of its shrinking industrial base, high unemployment, and widespread poverty. Although the past decade has seen signs of revitalization, such as investments in infrastructure and a drop in violent crime, the shadow of Detroit's difficult past looms large. The city's residents are painfully aware of its challenges, but there's a slow, ongoing process of rebuilding. Homicides in Detroit fell to their lowest since 1966 in 2023, and new projects, like the reopening of Michigan Central Station, have signaled a hopeful future. But the scars of Detroit's darker days remain visible, leaving Lizzo's comments vulnerable to criticism. Despite the controversy, Lizzo's support for Kamala Harris and her celebration of Detroit's resilience are clear. She used the rally to remind attendees of Detroit's contributions to America, from its innovation in the auto industry to its legendary influence on music. But the national discourse quickly shifted away from the city's achievements and focused on the notion that America could inherit Detroit's past problems. Harris, during the rally, remained focused on urging voters to get to the polls and warn of the dangers of a second Donald Trump presidency, labeling him unstable and unfit. Lizzo's spontaneous performance of her hit single About Damn Time during the rally lightened the mood temporarily, but the political fallout from her earlier comments lingered. Swifties and Harris supporters alike were left grappling with the mixed message that Lizzo had inadvertently sent. For Republicans and Trump supporters, Lizzo's remarks were quickly weaponized to portray a Harris presidency as a road to urban decay. As Lizzo's comments continue to fuel debate, her intentions seem clear: to uplift her hometown and champion Kamala Harris in a critical election. Yet, in the age of instant reactions and viral soundbites, her words were quickly co-opted into a broader political narrative. Whether viewed as a rallying cry for Detroit spirit or a warning of urban decline, Lizzo's remarks have added another layer of complexity to an already heated election season. While the conversation around Detroit's struggles and resurgence continues, the pop star's comments have left both supporters and critics contemplating the future she envisions for America under Harris's leadership.